So we'll be exploring inventory management features, the new features and capabilities to help you to prepare for the next academic session. And to ensure a smooth session today, of course, we have turned off all videos. So feel free to note down your questions during the walkthrough. We'll address them afterwards. Of course, when it's time for the question and answer, we'll get to call you up and take your questions or your comments. Before we begin, I would like to introduce the two facilitators. We'll be having two facilitators for this session today. For the inventory session, Mrs. Maureen Uju Ibe will be the one to take us through the walkthrough for the inventory. And for the SwitchApp, we'll have Sylvester, Mr. Sylvester, Engineer Sylvester, I beg your pardon, to take us through the SwitchApp walkthrough also. And then after that, we'll now take questions and comments. So let's get started with the inventory. Miss Maureen, please, it's your moment.
All right, thank you, Mr. Moses. Good morning, everyone. I'll be handling today's inventory on Educare platform. Kindly note that the inventory part of the system I will show you how the inventory handles payments that comes from the store, and it also handles transactions that are optional when you have optional payments in the school. So the inventory also handle that part of the system for you. I'll quickly share my screen so you can see. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. First of all, before you can start using the inventory part of the system, you need to set up the finance part of it. We'll go to finance. When you go to finance, you search finance, you click on account setup. On the account setup, you create the account head for the inventory. You create the account head for the inventory, you go to new account head, you click on the account name, which is store inventory. Store inventory. You select the role that should manage this account head. The admin, the front desk, the store managers, you can give them the permissions. You select the chart of accounts the inventory goes under, which is sales. Account type is store. Currency, Naira. Payments, gateway. We use SwitchApp payment gateway. This is the payment gateway we use to track online payment. So you select SwitchApp payment gateway. You select the bank the transaction should settle in. If you have a different bank account you want your inventory to settle in, you can always pick the bank. So currently we have Sterling Bank, then you add. I already have my setup done, so you can see it here. You can't have more than one inventory account on the system. Kindly note, currently, it's just one inventory account head that it creates that covers every transaction. So I'll pick sales on this end. I already selected store, and I'll save my account head. So once this is done, then the next place to go to is the account operation permissions. What happens under account operation permissions is this is where you give individual access who should be able to do a particular thing on the inventory. If I search inventory, so you can see inventory, under inventory, you have different account operations, the likes of who can create store item, who can edit, who can delete. So it won't just be a random operation for every user on the system or every admin. So this is where you set up who should be able to create this particular operation or handle a particular operation. All you need to do is to click on edit. You select the name of the user. So now this is not role-based. This is now based on a particular person. You find the names of all the staff in the school here. You select that particular staff name you want to use. Let's assume I'm giving permission to David Smith. I'll select David Smith. I'll click on save. So what it does is it allows David Smith to be able to create store items. And if you don't have permission, you can't be able to make these operations from this end. If you want to extend this particular permission now to the school admin and David Smith, all you need to do is you click on extend. It allows you to extend the operation. Inventory. All I need to do now is select those different operations I want the school admin and David Smith to handle. You pick them. Once you're done, you click on save. Automatically, the system will give access to those permissions to those particular rows. If I search inventory, you can see that school admin and David Smith currently have permission to create store item, edit, delete, can edit store, customize field, and many other account permissions that is here. So this is what it allows you to do. Once you're done with this particular setup, the next thing you're going to do is you go to the warehouse. We have the warehouse. The warehouse, what it does is it allows, there are some schools that have warehouse, then they have their store, the working store, or the online store. So from the warehouse, you can stock up the store. But if you just have the store itself, all you need to do is you go to the store inventory. The warehouse still allows you to create items. So any item you create under warehouse will replicate itself on the store inventory. Any item you create in the store also replicates itself in the warehouse. So we're going to use the store inventory tool for this session. We'll go to the store inventory. We'll go to categories. Under category, this is where it creates the different categories of items you have, the likes of uniform, the likes of club or extracurricular activities. For you to be able to create those optional items that you don't want them to be on your invoice, all you need to do, you go to category name. I'll create uniform, uniforms. You save. When you create the category name, you save. You can also create subcategories in this particular category name you've created. If you have under uniform, we have boys uniform. You click on subcategory. You click on create category. So now this is you creating a category, a subcategory inside uniform. I'll create boys uniform. Now the parent category is uniform. We'll save. I can add more. Girls uniform. So once we close this, so you can see this is uniform. We have two subcategories inside uniform. If I want to create extracurricular activities like clubs, I can create a category name calling it club. Clubs. Once you create the club, you save. Now we have two parent category item. Then the other one is the sub. Give me a moment. I'll delete this. I don't want it inside this parent category. I'll go back to category, create category, club. It's a standalone category. So you can see I have a major category names, clubs, then I have uniform. If I want to add subcategories in the club, you can also create it. Click on the subcategories and add more subcategories into the parent category. When you're done creating the category names, the next place you go to is the item library. On the item library, this is where you create the items itself. Click on create item. Display in store, yes. If you want your display in store, yes, it means this item will be available on parent end. But if you have those items you sell in the store, but you don't want it to be available on parent end, display in store is no. So display in store, yes. I'll select my image. I'm creating a uniform. If I've gotten this image from online, you can also paste the URL of that image and the system will pull the image for you. But I already saved my image, so I uploaded. Then the item name, girls gown, girls gown. Item unique ID. So you can give it a unique ID. It can be a serial number. So I'll use serial number 001. Category, this is uniform and it's under the subcategory girls uniform. I'll give a brief description about this item I'm creating. I can call it blue and white gown for junior girls. Junior girls. This is my description. Location, all schools. So this item will be available in all schools. The cost price. So how much did you purchase this particular item from the vendor or from your supplier? If this uniform cost us 10,000, what we have next is the price markup. So the price markup is the profit margin. How much you intend to make as a school when you sell this particular item. If you want to enter your price markup in exact amount, you type it in. If you want to enter it in percentage, you check percentage and type in how many percent. If you want to make 10%, automatically the system will calculate the selling price for you. So this is 10,000 naira as a cost price. In percentage, if our markup when we are making sales is 10%, system gives us the selling price of the item. But if you want to enter it in the exact amount, you know the exact profit you want to make in amount, you uncheck this box and type it in. If you're going to make 5,000 naira extra, the system calculates the selling price for you. This item we are setting up, is it in units? This is a unit. Is it in set? Is it in pair? Is it in piece? If you still want to add more units, you can click on add new unit and enter the name. So this is in pair. In piece, we use piece. Low stock alert. Low stock alert is how much of this item do you have left, and the system notify you that you need to restock up on this particular item. Let's say when I keep making sales and it gets to 10, I should be able to get a notification that this item is low, we need to restock up. Having set up this, then we'll go to add custom field. What the custom field does is it allows you to enter the different sizes or colors depending on the item you're creating. For this uniform now, it comes in sizes. So the field type, size, the value, the different size. Is it large? Is it small? Is it medium? Depending on how you want to name your sizes. I can do large. Attracted price. If you have a particular size that attracts more costs other than the selling price, you can always key it in. So at a point, if parents want to make a purchase and pick that particular size, instead of 15,000, it will be 20,000, depending on the attracted price that particular sizing has. So you can add as many sizes as you want to create. This is large. The next one is medium. Small. If the small size attracts extra 2,000, you key it in, then you save. So once this item saves now, it creates on the table. So you can see item created successful. So we've created this item, we'll create another one. I'll go back to create item, display in store, yes. So I want to create a club, after school club. After school club. Club 01. Categories, clubs, description, activities after academics, depending on how you want to describe it. So this description allows you to explain the activities carried out in this club and maybe the time at which it takes place. At the point at which parents want to make purchase, they can be able to read through the description to see what that particular extracurricular activities is about under description. So location, all schools, the costs. If the cost of this club is, if the cost is 50,000, so it's the same thing. The cost of the club and the selling price is the same thing, 50,000. That's why I entered the markup as 0. So now club is not in set, it's not in pair, it's not in piece. I'm adding a new unit. I'll click on add new unit. I'll enter the unit name. I call this services because it's a service that is rendered. Once you type in the new unit name, you click on save. So it allows you to now select that particular unit, which is services. Low stock alerts, I'll leave it at 5. Club does not have sizes and doesn't have shape, so we'll save. So once you've created this particular item, so you can see this is created now. Once you created the item, the next place we'll go to is, we'll go to suppliers. This is where you create your suppliers details or who renders the services to you, the details of that particular vendor. So this is where you create the vendor's name. So I'll create a vendor's name to choose the phone number of that vendor, email address. winnexville.com. I can still use the name as the company name. Company address, Lekki Phase 1. I've added a supplier. Sorry, I clicked it more than once. I'll delete this so I can add another vendor. I'll put in the phone number of this vendor. Company name. I'll key in the company name and the address. Okay. So having added the vendor's details, the next place we'll go back to is the item library. On the item library, for you to stock up these particular items now, so you might have a particular club and the number of students you want that particular club is 20 or 12. You use the stock up. That's the quantity of this item. How many do you have it? So you're stocking up. You click on stock. How many of this item do you have? If, let's say 30. So for items like activities, you can make it 100 or 1,000. So parents can be able to purchase or pay for it as much as they want to. So you don't have to come back here to keep restocking. But if you have like uniform, based on the number of uniforms you have, you key it in. So this is club. I'm using 30. Stock up from warehouse. If you have a warehouse where you have your items in, you can decide to stock up from the warehouse. You click stock up from warehouse. Yes. But we're not stocking up from warehouse here. We're stocking directly to our store. Then the invoice number, these are details you get from the supplier's receipt issued to you. So I'll key in different values for now because I don't have a receipt. Then invoice amount, how much was this item purchased for from my vendor? If I got it for 200,000. Receiving report number. These are details that you should get from your vendor's receipt as stated earlier. Then you select your supplier's name and you stock up. You can see now we have a stock. For the uniform, how many of this uniform do I have? If in total I have 40, and for that 40 now, the large, I have 10. The medium size, I have 20, and the small, I have another 10, which will give me the sum of my total number in stock, which is 40. I'll key in my invoice number. The sum total of these 40 items were purchased. I'll select my supplier's name, then I'll stock up. Okay. So once you've created your items and you stock up, once you create your items and you stock up, the system now allows this item available to parents. So the next thing we need to do is, you can see this button, this is edit. You can always edit and make adjustments to the name, the clubs. If you want to delete, you click on the red button to delete the item. If you want to check your stock up history, You click on this button to see the stock up history. So it gives you details of how you've been stocking up items from the store. So this is the current stock up history that we have. So you can see the dates. It's picking today's dates. The stock up value we have 30. So as we are making purchase, it gives us the history of how we're making sales from this end. Having done all this part, the next thing now is this item is available to parents to make purchase from the store. So I'm going to go in as a parent. So we'll see how this item looks from the parent end. I'll go to parent end. I'll go to, so I'm logged in as a parent. So once a parent logs into their portal, I want to make purchase from the store. All they need to do is they go to school store. On the school store, they can find the items that have been stocked up in the store. You can see the categories. Once you have more categories, they're all lined up. You click on a particular category. This is uniform. You can see the uniform and the selling price. So this is what parents will see. You click add to carts. When you click add to carts, you see the description of the item, the sizes. The parent can now pick the size they want to purchase for their child. So if the parent is purchasing medium, you select medium, you click add to cart. Once you click add to cart, this is the cart icon. You click on the cart icon. So what the parent needs to do is, if you have more than one child, you select the student name you want to make purchase for. This is the child's name. If you want to shop more, you can go back to the store and pick more item. Let's assume I want to shop more. I'll click on continue shopping. I want after club. I'll click on after club. The quantity of this after club, is it 1 or is it 2? You can increase. So as you increase the quantity, the amount increases. So you can see I increase the quantity to 2. The total price increased to 100. If I click on add, I'll go back to the cart. So I have 2 items in the cart. You can see the sum total. So once the parent is done shopping, you selected the name of the child you're buying for. You click on checkout. Once you click on checkout, you click on secure payments with SwitchApp. It takes you to the payment page to purchase your item. So this is the payment page. You select the payment method. There are different payment methods here. You select bank transfer. You click on pay. The system generates the account number that you want to make payment with. This is it. Once you've done your transfer, you click on I've completed transfer. So this is how seamless it is which parent can purchase from the store. So once this item has been purchased from the store, from the inventory part of the system now, this item is marked as escrowed and ready for collection. But if parent did not make payment, what the system does is it will generate an invoice, but the item will not be marked as paid. So I'm going to cancel this and go back to the portal. So this is from the so now on the finance end now of the school, when you go to invoice center, we go to the account head stores, you click on next. The system generates an invoice for the parent automatically once you've gotten to the payment page. But the parent did not make payment, so that invoice will be marked as not paid. So you can see the invoice. I want to open the invoice. So we can see that the system raised an invoice for the parent, but it wasn't paid for. So you can see this is the invoice details. The girl's gown, the size, the club I picked, quantity 2. So the system generates an invoice for the parent. So assuming we made payment for this particular invoice, automatically this item will be marked as paid. On the inventory part of the system, it will reduce the stock up value. It reduces stock up value from this end. Okay, let me refresh our network. Give me a moment, my network is a bit slow. So once the parents make this payment and automatically send them a receipt of payment, and from the admin end, you get a prompt that a particular parent made purchase of a particular item from the store. I'll go back to finance. I'll go back to inventory. I'll go back to store inventory. Sorry, give me a minute. Network is a bit laggy today. Okay, so we're good. So now, network. Okay, so once this item has been purchased and paid for, you get the item under, let's not waste time, we'll get the item under store pickup units. So once a payment has been made for a particular item, where you find that item and the student name the item was paid for is under store pickup unit. You select store pickup unit, select the session. Once you come to this table, you'll find the name of the student. Yes, you'll find the name of the student and the item that was paid for. Up until, and this is where you also issue out the item as collected. So once a payment is made, you'll find the name of the child on this table and the item they paid for. At this point, you can then mark the item as collected. You can issue it out from here and mark it as collected. Because we didn't pay for that item, that's why we can't find it on this table. So but another thing we'll look at again is we'll look at the request form. On the request form, you might have items that you have in the store, but you don't issue them, you don't pay for it, and teachers don't pay for it, or students don't pay for it. So I'll go back to the store inventory and I'll create an item that we don't pay for. So I can show you how the request form work. I'll go to store inventory. I'll go to the category. I'm creating a new category name. We're calling this, let's say, stationaries. Stationaries. Then we'll save. So once item has been created, I've created stationaries, I'll go to item library to create an item under stationaries. I'll click on create item. display in store is no. So this particular item, we're not selling it out. So we're not going to make it available to parents. Is this item we're creating, is it reusable? There are some items in the store that are reusable. When staff comes to pick it up, after using it, they return it back to the store, or they can pick it and they're not paying for it and they don't return it. So let's assume this one now we're creating is not reusable. We'll add an image. I'll pick an image. Let's say chessboard. Chairs. Category. Stationaries. All classes. Location, all schools. So we're giving it a cost. We're giving it a cost, but we know that we're not selling it out. So I can do 1,000 naira. This is a set. We'll add our item. So we've added this particular item. So once you set up an item and it's not for sale, you can see that store item is marked as red. So you can see the difference between display in store and an item that is not displayed in store. So this particular item is not displayed in store. So now it's not checked as green. So this item now, if we want to request for this particular item, all we need to do is we can use the request form. So this is open to both teachers and every other person. So if I go to request form, I'll go to my request, I'll click on the plus button to make a request. Okay, so the request form needs an active budget to work. Give me a moment, let me set up a budget. I don't have access. So you can see that it's telling me that I don't have access because there's permissions, account operation permissions. I wasn't given access to this point. So I will go back to account operation permissions to get the permissions I need to set up budgets and be able to make requests from the store. So I'm extending my filter to budgets. Okay, so we'll go back to okay. I'll quickly set up a budget so that I can be able to make requests from the store. Annual budget, estimated income. So you can set up your estimated income, then set up your approved budget. An open date, the date at which your budget can start running. You click on save. So I can set up budget on different items. So I'm doing this very fast because we're not really handling budget today, but for us to use the request form, we need to have an active budget. So at the time when we handle budget, we would explain the budget management in a more detailed form. But for the purpose of the request form, I have my budget active. Then I'll go back to request form. I'll click on the plus button. So now, item type, store item. I can make requests from this end. Teachers can make requests. Other managers in the school can make requests. Students can even make requests if you give them access to make requests. So this is store item. It will pull down all the items you have in the store. If I'm going to make a request on stationaries, I'll select stationaries. Sorry, I need to stock up stationaries. I'll go to stationaries. I'll go to stock up. How many of this particular item do we have available? We have 10. I'll put in my invoice details, the cost of it, invoice receiving number, then my supplier. I've stock up. We'll go back to the request form. On the request form, it allows you to make a request of items that are not being sold in the store. I can select store item, stationaries, chairs. So this is the item I have under stationaries, chairs. I'll select this request. Is it from me or for students? If you're making the request for a student, you can select student. The system will give you the names of the students in the school. You select who the request is for. Let's assume it's for Wiki. How many of this item? 1. You can put a comment, if any. Last thing. The priority of this particular request. Is it urgent? Is it as soon as possible? How fast do you need this particular request you're making? So let's say as soon as possible. Then you add to batch. You can have more than one request. So I'm just making one request now. So once you created your request, you add to batch, you submit request. Once you submit the request, who needs to approve will go under pending and find the request and approve it. So there are permissions to who should be able to do a particular thing when it gets to approval of items. So who you give permission to be able to make approve items will be able to approve this item. So now you can see that I'm making a request as a staff or as a student for a student. I don't have the permission to approve. But once you make this request, who you give permission to approve this particular request will go to pending request and approve or reject it. So now I'll go back to my setup and give myself access to be able to approve this particular request. So you can see that permissions under accounts is based on individual and not just a role. So you need to give a particular user permission to be able to either approve or reject. So now I'm going to give myself the permission to be able to approve requests and we also make other operations. Requests. So this is requests. Going back to our request. Okay, so now you can see the request I made. I made a request for this particular student. Now that I've given myself permission, so you can see that I explained earlier, it's based on permissions. Who should be able to run a particular operation under finance? We'll go to approve request. You click on it. You can just decide to approve once, but you can decide to open up this particular request and view it. Once you open it up, you can see, then you click on approve. Confirm action. Are you sure you want to approve this request? So you click on proceed to approve this particular request that was made. Once this request is made, if we go back to the store, go back to the store, go back to the store inventory, we have 10 of this particular item. I've made my request, it was approved. So once it's approved, you can find one escrowed because an item has been requested, one chest has been requested and it has been approved. It will be marked as one escrowed. Same thing goes to when parents purchase from the store. So once parents pick an item from the store and make purchase, you have the quantity of what the parents paid for under escrowed up until they've collected that item, the quantity sold increases, then the stock up value reduces. So now we have 10 items in stock and one escrowed because I made one request. If I go back to my request, so I've made a request that's been approved, it's marked as one escrowed. Then who needs to now issue out this item to who made the request? You go to item request. This is item request. You can see collection status is pending. Now we want to issue out this item. We'll click on issue item. If you have a comment to still make at the point of issuing it out, maybe the store manager is indicating collected by teacher. You click on save. If you still want to upload an image at the point of issuing out, you can. So I'll click on save. Yes, issue item. This item has been issued out. You can see the status have changed from pending to collected. Automatically, if we go back to this end and reload this page, let me just use here, and I go back to the item library, you can see it has reduced. The stock up value has reduced to 9. But if the quantity sold is not increasing because we are not selling this item, it's not for sale. It's not a store item that you sell out to parents that they pay you, but the stock up value of this item has reduced automatically. If it's an item that is reusable, at the point at which they are returning it, if the stock up value increases back to 10 when they return it back. But if it's an item parent purchased, the stock up value reduces and the quantity sold increases. So because we didn't make payment, that is why we are not seeing this part. But if I go to the finance part, let's assume the parents raised an invoice from the store and did not make payment, and they pay directly into the school account. I can decide to clear the invoice as paid. I'll select the invoice date. So this is me clearing this item manually, assuming the parent paid directly into the school account and did not pay through the portal, and I'm clearing it manually. I'll pick the bank the money was paid into, generate a unique reference, how much was paid for that item, 115,000. Then I'll click on confirm payment. Once I click on confirm payment, the system clears this item as paid. Then we'll go back to the portal. I'll go back to the store inventory. So on the store inventory now, you can see automatically this has reduced. We marked it as paid. The parent picked 2 of this particular item and 1 of this. So this is you clearing from the portal as paid. It is marking quantity sold that it has increased the quantity sold by 2 and by 1. But assuming parents pay directly to from their end, you don't need to do this manual clearing. Automatically the system clears out this from you at the point of issuing out this particular item. Also, if you have parents that walk into the school store to make purchase, all you need to do is you go to the store front desk to handle such transaction. If you have a parent that walks into the school to purchase their item, if they don't use the school store on the portal, you go to the store front desk, you go to the cat icon. Once the parent comes in, what's the child's name? This is a list of all the students in the school attached to their parent. So if it's Rita, we click on the cat icon. The system will give you the list of all items in the store. You ask them what they want to purchase, if it's uniform, if it's the club. Let's say they want to purchase uniform. We'll click on add to cart. The quantity you increase, if it's 2, I'll remove this. So this is the quantity increased by 2. You click add to cart. You click on checkout. Once you click on checkout, you select the payment method. Is it a counter payment? Counter payment is issuing out invoice to parents to go and make payments, maybe to the bursar's office, or is it an instant payment? You're collecting the payment there and then. You select instant payment. You select the payment method. How was payment done? Was it cash? Was it bank? Mostly banks. Select bank. Enter a unique reference. I'm using a serial number 001. So you're confirming you collected 30,000 for this particular item. Then select your transaction date and time. You click on checkout. Once you click on checkout, automatically the system will clear this item as paid and also mark it as collected because it's happening right from the store manager's end. Once we go back to the inventory part of it, we'll go to store pickup unit. Select session so you can see the items. This was the first one I manually cleared from the invoice center. This is the second one I raised. So now the item is here. You can also issue it out as collected. This is the first one I did now. Automatically it issued that one out as collected. And if it's the one I did from the admin, from the finance end, you can then come here and mark it as issued out. Update. Process. So you hand it over. So once you've done this, if you go back to the store inventory to see the quantity in stock, it will reduce this. You can see it has reduced by the quantity sold. We sold out 2 from here, we sold out 3 from here, and the stock up value has also reduced from this end. Then the next part we're going to look at is the the store appointment manager. So the store appointment manager also allows parents at the point of creating an item, you can decide to, let me edit this. You can decide to enable appointment scheduling. So what it does is it allows parents to select when they want to come in and pick up their items after making payment. So it's based on the item now. So if you set up this item as enable appointment schedule, once you enable it, you click on the appointment settings for sizing or for pickup. So if it's for sizing, you enable sizing. If it's for pickup, let's assume it's for pickup. You select pickup, select your production duration. Is it in days? Is it in hours? Then you update. So this allows parents to be able to schedule when they want to come in. I'm going to log in as a parent again and show you. So this is the parent end. I'm back as this parent. I want to purchase an item from the store. I'll click on school store. I'll click on add to cart. You click on the cart icon. We didn't pay for most of these ones that we did. Give me a moment to reload my page. So I'll go back to the portal. Okay. I'll edit this, enable pickup 2 days, appointment schedule is turned on. Then I'll click on the parent end. I'll go to school store. I'll refresh my page. This allows parents to select when they set up when they want to come in to pick up their item on that particular item that they're picking up from, that they're paying for. So this is a parent end. I've added this item to the cart. I'll go back to my cart icon. Yes. So now you can see that I enabled this particular item. At the first time when I did it, it was not enabled for the pickup scheduling or sizing. So what this allows the parent to do now is there's always a token that will be sent to them at the point of purchasing this item. So on this parent's mail, the parent will get this token. You key in the token here to allow you verify that at this particular date, you can come in to pick up your uniform. That's what the token does. So, but I don't have the mail for this particular token now. So I'm just going to walk you through it, how it works on the system. But what the sizing appointment does is, at the point of purchasing the item, it allows you to pick the dates and time you want to come in to pick up this particular item. So it allows the school to have schedule of when parents can come in. So now, not everybody will come in at the same time. So you come in at your own dates for sizing or for pickup. That's what it does. So when you're now making your purchase, once you get to this part, a token is sent to your mail. That is the token you key in at this particular place. Then you set in the dates and time you want to come in to pick up this particular item you're paying for. So once you've keyed it in, you click, it takes you to the payment page and you pay. Once you've made your payment from the admin end, and the store manager's end, they can see the dates at which parents have selected for pickup or for sizing from this end. So it just gives them record of the code. That's the token that was sent to you. You'll see it here. The admin sees it here, the parent name, the student name, and the dates they want to come in for their sizing or for their pickup of their item. So this is what this table will give us. But because we don't have the code on our mail currently, so I'm not going to have that details. But as long as the parent, those items were set up at the point of creating it, once a parent is making a purchase, they enter their code, pick their dates they want to come in for sizing or for picking up of their item. And from your end as a school, you're having record of those schedules. So you're expecting a particular parent on a particular date and time to come pick up their uniforms or the item they make purchase from. So that's how basically this particular sizing and appointment works. So having done this part, then the next place we'll look at is the store inventory. So once purchases are being done, at a glance, you're seeing it. And you can also get reports by clicking on this. You can get your reports by clicking on the quantity sold. So on the quantity sold, you can see the different purchases that is done by student and how much you've made in a particular day and time. So you can pull your record. You can also print. This is the sales that have been done so far. We have 2 of these items sold. So you can also print it if you want to. From this date to this date, this is the quantity sold and this is the amount that have been realized. And you can also get your records you can get more record on the inventory under the account heads. If you go to this invoice center, you select the store. If you click next, you can get more record from the account statements. So it also allows you to see the quantity of items you've sold so far. If you want to also get more records on the inventory, if you go to the broad view of the system, you can also pull more records. This is store. You can see store, we have the amount we've realized so far on that store. If we go to all transactions, you can see the items that has been raised, also other all transactions. If we go to the invoice item report, you can also get your details of invoice items that you've created under inventory and also get records of it under this Excel. You can download and also view. So this is also other places you can get transaction logs on inventory and on the clubs, depending on the items you created under inventory. Thank you. I hope this has been an eye-opener to you on the Educare inventory part of our system.
All right, thank you so much, Mrs. Uchu, for that walkthrough. Just a quick observation. We may need to find an email for a parent and create an email. You may need to show us this parent appointment again. That's after Engineer Sylvester finished with the SwitchApp. Please, you may need to create an email for your parents and then show us through again how the flow goes. All right?
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, participants. Just note that any questions you have at the end of the SwitchApp presentation, we're going to open and call up everyone who indicates by raise of hand to kindly come up and ask their questions. All right, just note it down and wait for this session. After this session, the SwitchApp walkthrough will now open the lines for questions and comments. For now, we'll be switching over to the SwitchApp walkthrough, and we have Engineer Sylvester ready.
Okay, good everyone. Engineer Sylvester with SwitchApp. So I'll be taking you on the SwitchApp aspect of Educare. We'll be proceeding from where you stopped last week on Educare Finance. So it's going to be a continuation of most of the things you've already gone through. We're going to start with the SwitchApp dashboard. First of all, I need to explain to you what SwitchApp is and how it fits into your workflow. So Educare is an ERP. Educare manages a whole lot of your business workflow and what you do. But then Educare has the things that it does and the things it can do. Educare is not an entity that can manage funds for you. Educare does not hold your finance, your actual funds. Educare only helps you to manage it. Your funds have to be domiciled somewhere so that you can access and use it. That is where SwitchApp comes in. So SwitchApp is a business management engine that lets you run your business seamlessly. We enable you to accept payments, perform disbursements, and do a whole lot of other things. Now on Educare, you have your Educare Finance aspect, and then you have SwitchApp. SwitchApp is a separate entity from Educare. So SwitchApp processes the payments, does a lot of the things, and Educare just manages it, via an integration. So first of all, this is the SwitchApp dashboard. I have to notify you that some of you may not have access to this. I understand. Educare actually manages this SwitchApp aspect for a lot of businesses that are on Educare. But if you do require access, I think Educare provides that if the school management actually requests for it. So you can actually request for it and get access to the dashboard. But because of the sensitive nature of this, most times Educare manages it for you. So that's all about that. Then you can proceed. Okay, so this is the SwitchApp dashboard. It gives you a quick overview of, your finances to date. So this is like a summary of everything happening for your business for today. So you see your money in, your money out, transactions, and other details. So, but the main thing we're going to be talking about today is payments. Payments is how you accept funds into your school. For that, I'll proceed with this. So we'll go on the payments. The payments tab on SwitchApp dashboard. Now you see under the payments tab, you have also subheadings or subtabs, as you can describe it. So there are payments, payment links, and payment issues. Now, under this payments tab, you see that you have successful, partial, processing, refunded, abandoned, and failed. These constitute the various states that a payment can be in at any time. But before a payment can come in here, it has to come from somewhere. That is a payment, a parent trying to make payment to your school. How does that happen? Well, that will revert to the Educare portal because that's where your parents actually initiate the payments. So, for example, this is a parent on Educare, a parent profile on Educare portal, a test profile, and this parent wants to make a payment for maybe school fees and other things. So you can see here is tuition, development levy, and information technology, totaling 980,000, and after some discounts, 931,000. The parent comes on Educare, sees this and says, okay, I want to make my payment. And they click pay now. Upon clicking pay now, confirm, then it shows them this. This is where SwitchApp comes in. Secure payment with SwitchApp. Once they click on this link, it takes them to the SwitchApp portal to complete the payment. And this is the checkout page that's available to them. If your school is okay with accepting partial payments, then you see this, the parents will see this view telling them, okay, are you trying to make a full payment or partial payment? Because some parents will just on their own transfer a partial amount to your school and hope for the best. If you do not want that, you disable partial payments. And if a parent pays less than the amount specified, it will be refunded to the parent based on your settings, or maybe it will be held for you and you can decide what to do with it. So for that, for this test, we'll just say the parent wants to make a full payment, for example, proceed with full payment. That difference is this. Now they can select either of these available payment options here, or they can pay with their card. But immediately upon opening this checkout page and selecting a particular payment method and initiating, at this point they have initiated the checkout process. And if you go on your dashboard, then you'll be able to see the payments that the parent initiated under the processing tab. These are the various providers available on SwitchApp. We have a lot of them, and these are the ones that the people that will use to process the payments you got into your school. We do this so that even if one of these are down or experiencing issues, you can always accept payments. So you're not limited to a single payment provider. If the parent has initiated the payment, you see it under processing. If the parent has completed a payment, it will be either under the successful or partial tab. Partial tab means partial payment. Successful is successful payments. That's a completed payment. Partial payments can be made multiple times. You can also determine how many times the parent is allowed to make partial payments, the total number of partial payments parents can make. That's where you have all these tabs. However, if you go to your settings tab, check out on payment links, you can configure how your payments work and how the entire process flows. So here you can see automatic field payment management. So if, for example, a parent pays less than specified, pays excess and anything, how do you want to manage it? This is where you set it in the settings. We'll revert to this in a moment. So I just wanted to show you the settings aspect to it. So let's assume that a parent goes to make payments and they pay less than specified. It will not be under any of these tabs. These are for payments that have already been initiated and completed successfully, or they are still processing, or a payment has been made and accepted as successful and then refunded to the parent. Abandoned or failed. These are the options here. But if a parent has paid less than specified and you did not enable that option for your school, there's no entry in it in the payment tab for it here. Rather, it becomes a payment issue because you've specifically decided that you don't want to accept partial payments. For those, you go under payment issues. When you go under payment issues, you see that we have various types of payment issues. We have amount incomplete, we have duplicate transactions, we have excess amounts. Now, based on your settings, in my own settings, in the settings here, you can see that I have set it to not refund anything at all. That means when a payment fails, I want to manage it by myself. You can also set it to delay the refund. So maybe after 24 hours, it refunds. Accept it as partial. So if a parent pays less than specified, it will automatically be accepted as partial upon failure. And then you can also select settle to balance. Settle to balance is, even if the payment has failed, just put it in my balance. It will not resolve an invoice, it will not resolve any payment, but it will just go to your balance. That means you handle it internally. And that is usually not advisable because you can no longer decide what the payment was for initially. So let's return to the payments tab again to proceed from there. Now, since I have these payment issues on my profile, I know that this parent maybe wanted to pay for something, the amount was 300,000, and they sent 30,000. Maybe it was a typo as they were entering the digits on their mobile app. I can click on this to resolve it. If I click on the payment issue, it shows me this view. This view contains various options I have to resolve the payment issue. Either accept it as a partial payment on the same invoice that it was intended, as long as that invoice has not already been settled. To check the invoice it was intended on, you can click on this link here. That's showing you the reference of the target invoice or the source invoice. If you click on it, it takes me to the invoice page, showing me processing, and it's still the amount is 300,000, still processing. So I can actually redirect to this invoice or accept it as partial payment if I want. So let's return to the payment issues page. For this one now, showing me 30,000, 300,000. I can either accept as partial payment, refund it to the customer, settle to my balance, or redirect to invoice. For each of these steps, you get the helper text here explaining to you exactly what is going on. So this will be applied to the same payment or invoice the customer attempted to make payment to. So if you wish to apply to a different payment or invoice, use the redirect to invoice tab. Okay, so when you decide to convert it into a partial payment, you also have the option of specifying how many partial payments you want this parent to be able to make. because maybe you do not want the parent to make 10 partial payments. They'll just be paying you in tiny chunks of funds that you do not desire. You can decide, okay, only 3 for this parent. So whenever the parent goes to checkout page, they'll see the number of payments attempts they have left. And also, when you're redirecting, you can change the bearer, based on your school settings. Now, you've configured Educare how you want SwitchApp to handle your payments. Maybe you've configured it for the parent that's the customer, to bear the charges. So even though it's 300,000, that's the amount, when they go on the checkout page, they'll see the 300,000 plus the app fees. Or you may have changed yours to be, I'll bear the fees, but I know I've already added it to the amount so that my customer will not start asking me, why am I still paying extra fees? So you can still change that here. In case you want, let's say the customer paid an amount, the customer is supposed to pay 300 and 1,000, where 1,000 is the app fee, but the customer sent 300,000, and you decide, you know what, I don't want to disturb this customer for that 1,000 right now. Let me just settle this. Let's say this weren't 30,000, but this wasn't 30,000, but 300,000 instead, and the amount is 301,000. If you want to accept it, you now change the bearer to the merchant. If you change it to merchant, that means, okay, the app fees will not be borne by me, and less than 300,000 will be settled to my account. That's okay. You can just set your maximum partial payments count, and then accept as partial payment. That's option 1. Option 2 is to refund back to the customer. So when you decide to refund to the customer, you may need to provide the customer refund back details if it wasn't captured. So sometimes, due to Nigerian network issues, the source account details may not be captured, and this may be required, but it's rare. So when you refund to the customer, no app fees also applied. So if the customer paid 30,000, as in this case, they will get back their full 30,000. No app fees will be applied. That's option 2 that you have. The next option is settle to balance. Settle to balance settles it back to your balance, like I explained earlier, and then you can use it to whatever you want. And then the last option is redirect to invoice. Direct to invoice allows you to select a different invoice where the payment will be sent to. So you just go to processing, select the payments, and then tell it settle to invoice. Redirect to selected invoice, and that's it. So that's more the aspect of SwitchApp that handles your payment processing and payment issues. But if you have any of these issues or you don't have access to this, you can always contact Educare directly, and we'll still handle it for you. All right, thank you very much. I think that's my presentation on SwitchApp aspects of Educare Finance.
All right, thank you so much, Engineer Sylvester, for that part. And thank you to all the participants for staying put through this session. It is now time for question and answers. All right, so we have the first hand up, Barnabas Omor. You've been asked to unmute. You can unmute and speak.
Okay, good morning,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Botex.
Good morning.
Okay, I have 3 questions. I think the first one is based on the inventory aspect. I want to ask, is it possible for a school to fix a particular day within the week for uniform pickup? Maybe let's say, okay, my school, I fixed only Friday. Anybody that have bought or purchased uniform, I fixed on the appointment that, okay, come on Friday to pick up your uniform. Is that possible? That's the first question. I don't know if you answer before I proceed.
Yes.
All right, Maury, can you take this question, please?
Yes, it's very possible for you to set up your schedules on when you want parents to come in to pick up. Give me a moment. Let me share my screen.
Or while you're looking for that to show him through, you can shoot the second question. Go ahead, please. Barnabas, can you unmute and speak again?
Okay. Second question. In the case where a parent, okay, let's say, it's a new system, a parent wants to pay for something. at the initial state, the Educate generated or SwitchApp portal generated an account number, which is the money point account number, and the person made the payment at that first time. Then manually copied the account number and kept somewhere and say, okay, anytime I want to make payment to these people, I'll just transfer to that account. How do you resolve? Because I have such issue pending, and the person copied the account number and kept making payment to the account, but definitely it's not going to reflect on the portal. Because I heard when I think Mr. Alex said that in the former last meeting, that account number lasts for, I think.
Okay. Can I continue from there?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. So when a parent reserves an account number for a payment and makes the payment instantly, the account number is deactivated after the payment, after a day. We allow the 1 day to ensure that if the parent decides to make a duplicate payment during that time, the funds don't just disappear. You understand? Because when you release reserved account number, it goes back into the pool. Any payment that the parent attempts to make at that point will now have to go through, searching which payment provider it's with, which bank directed it, or which bank is currently with the funds. So you have to ensure that we always have those funds with us. We do not deactivate the account number for 24 hours. After that, we deactivate the account number. When the parent now tries to make that payment again, using the deactivated account number, the parent will find that the account number is no longer available. However, if the parent saves the account number and tries to make payment later, it's possible that the account number may be reallocated to a different payment for a different merchant. You understand? Under such circumstances, parents will see that the account name is no longer theirs, and they should not proceed with such payments. However, if the payment is successful and they actually send it to anyone, they can contact SwitchApp directly and will take up the issue and have their refunds reverted to them. So the funds will be redirected from whichever merchant it was sent to and refunded to the customer.
All right, thank you for that explanation. Just to amplify the question, so would it be proper to notify these parents that this account number lasts only for 24 hours?
It doesn't last for 24 hours. It lasts for 24 hours after payment is completed or abandoned. You understand? So, but if you reserve, for example, on an invoice, it will remain available for that invoice until the parent makes the payment. But once the payment is made, it's now deactivated. So that's why you are advised on the checkout page not to save the account number, because it's a temporary account number.
All right. Thank you for the explanation. Barnabas?
Yes, we are together, sir.
Are you good?
Yes, we're good. But how do we resolve the pending issue?
Just forward the payment issue to SwitchApp and we'll handle it.
So currently we don't have SwitchApp direct contact. We communicate with Mrs. Uju.
Okay, you can forward it to Educate forwards to SwitchApp.
All right, thank you. Then the last question.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
If a payment amount was made in excess, and now I think he didn't talk about that. If the payment amount was made in excess, I don't think you can refund that excess amount, because I've been trying that on SwitchApp. If you want to refund the excess amount, it will tell you to contact, or you should wait for SwitchApp admin. So I have several pending payments that have not been settled, and we've been getting calls that, okay, I made a payment, I've not gotten a refund. And I believe when you settle or when you refund, it moves to settle immediately. So I have so many payments on pending. I don't know how to resolve that. Thank you.
Okay. Anytime you have excess payments, contact Educate, because we need to review payment excess before we can approve. Other ones have different criteria for approval, but excess payments require approval from SwitchApp. So once you just contact SwitchApp, we'll trace the payment and approve it, and you can do whatever you want with it. Usually SwitchApp has excess payments internally, but when it shows up on your payment issues page, you need to contact us to grant you that access.
All right. Thank you, Engineer Sylvester, for that explanation. Barnabas, I hope we explained all your concerns. All right. Next is Billy Kisu.
Sorry, Mr. Botes. Okay, so I want
Yes,
to
sir.
take the first question that was asked.
Okay, Bilikisu, hold on for a moment, please. Go ahead, please.
Okay, the first question of which that was asked, if you can schedule when you want parents to come in to either pick up the items from the school. Yes, you can do that. I said earlier. So how you go around it is when you go to the appointment manager, I'll close this so you can see where I went to. When you go to the appointment manager, you go to the appointment settings, you'll see the store sizing appointment, store pickup appointment. By default, you can see it's open. You click on the edit button. So now this allows you to set up the days you want parents and the time you want them to come in to size. So services, let's say uniform. The provider, you can put the school name, Educare. Slot time difference, you set up your slot time difference at which parents can come in. Is it in minutes, is it in hours? If it's an hour, let's say an hour difference. Appointment day difference, 1 day difference. Then the days at which you want them to come in. If you want them to come in only on Friday, you select Friday. What time? 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you have other days you want to select, all you need to do is check that day, set the date and time. So once you're done, you click on update settings. So this particular day will only be opened to them at the point of making their schedules of when they want to pick up, or you go to open link. So this is what they will see from their end, sizing or pickup. So it's the same code I was talking about. So
Yeah, the token. Okay.
yes, the token. So once they key it in here from their mail, it opens up the date. They can select the date and the time they want to come in. So they will see the date and the time you have set up. You want them
Available.
to as available for
Okay.
them to come in. Then they can pick and make their own schedule. So once they are done with their own schedule, all you now need to do is from your own end, if you go to finance, store appointment manager, you'll find the appointment that you've scheduled for her. So that's the difference. This is where you get the details of every appointment. So
All right. Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
All right, thank you, Barnabas. Hope we cleared all your concerns. All right, next is Bilikisu. You've been asked to unmute and speak. Bilikisu, you can unmute and speak. All right, let's take Anthony, please.
Hello?
Okay, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am Bilkis Abdullahi from Gliston International Academy.
Nice to have you join us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Joe, for this wonderful presentation. Basically, I have one question and one challenge. I will go with the question first. My question actually, if a requisition is being sent to the store, maybe a staff make a requisition for stationery. Let's say a staff make requisition for 10 pieces of pen for the department. But I don't want to approve the whole 10 pieces of pen to that staff. In the point of approval, how do I reduce the quantity? Maybe from 10 to 5. 5 is what I can give the staff. So how do I reduce? Because if I'm the point of approval, there is nothing like reduction of quantity. for approval. So how do I do that? If I want to reduce the quantity of item requested by a staff, how do I do that? That is my question.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Then
okay.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Then the second one I have, which is the challenge, I discovered that every member of staff in the school can actually approve his or her requisition. Yes,
No.
everybody. Yes.
So that's
Ev
where I mentioned the settings when I started. I said, this is when you go to the account setup, you go to account operation permissions. Who should be able
yes.
to do run a particular operation?
We actually do that. The IT admin did that, and he gave permission to only 4 people. But what we discovered is that every member of staff can actually approve their requisition on their own without even coming to the
Okay,
store.
you
Yes.
get back to us so that we can look at it. But once a permission is given to a particular user, they are the only one that can do that. But you get back to us after the session so we can look at the settings and ensure
Okay.
that it works the way it should. Yes.
All right. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Then for the first
Yes.
question you asked, we'll review
Yes,
it
ma'am.
and we'll also add it. Because currently it's either you're approving the
Everything.
yes or you're
Yes.
rejecting it for the staff to go
Yes.
back and make a new one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
All right, you can further escalate these through the help desk, the WhatsApp group help desk, so that we can attend to you one-on-one. Thank
All
you.
right. No problem. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right, so next we'll listen to Anthony. Anthony, could you please unmute and speak? Anthony, we can barely hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I have few questions. My name is Mr. Anthony from Old British School. I have few questions. One of them, the miss that just asked question, I just asked one of them how to make adjustment on the quantity issued out, because most at times to have a complete inventory system, not all the quantity issued out, not all the quantity requested are issued out. So as a matter of importance, we need to really have a system that will have that kind of interaction where request is being made and the staff making the approval will have to have an option of typing the quantity that he or she wants to approve for whosoever has made that request. It is very, very important. So I will go to the second question now. How do we generate reports, inventory reports for independent categories? For instance, stationaries. I want to generate report for stationaries only. I don't want to include uniform. How do I go about it? I want to generate report, end of the month report for only clubs. How do I go about it?
Okay. So before we answer that, I stated earlier that currently on our system, you have one account head for finance for the store. One account head manages the store transactions. So this account head gives you, for every categories you have in that particular store account head, you can pull it from the store. So but currently you can't generate individually as you're requesting for, but we'll look into it and also add it. What the system does is it only gives you transaction log on all the payments that goes into store, whether it's club, whether it's uniform, whether it's stationaries. It doesn't give it differently. But the only thing you could get now based on this request is if you go to the inventory and you click on an item, if you click on the quantity sold, you can always get reports on that particular item that you have. So you can also download or you can print. So for every transaction that's gone into that particular item library, you can pull it from this end. But we'll look at how you can download based on categories, but that's what you're requesting for. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, what you said actually made sense, and I would really be grateful if you would do that for us, because as it is now, we are unable to maximize the educate in terms of inventory, because we really need to put this in place. Now, the club managers, they are different from the stationary managers in our school here. And the uniform manager may also be different from the stationary manager. So the stationary manager, if she wants to send her report to the accounts department, she will need to only have access to generate a report for only stationaries. For only stationaries. So if you do that for us, we will really appreciate it.
Okay.
And also, just for a confirmation, the stationery items in the store, they are not sold out.
Okay.
I don't know if it is possible for us to generate a report that will be only for items that we don't sell out to parents. Yes, because there are some items that we don't sell out to parents, like the uniforms. So if there is possibility also for us to generate reports without having inside items that we are selling out to parents. So if you look into it for us, we really appreciate. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. We'll review it and we'll work on it too.
All right, thank you, Antonio Bay. And don't forget to always follow up with through the help desk, the WhatsApp group, all right? The next to speak is Margaret Okusai. Margaret, please, if you can unmute and speak. Margaret, are you speaking?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. This is Mama Faith, the store officer, Roberto.
Okay, go ahead, please, with your question.
My question is, like, for some time now, when a student pays for an item at the account office and it's being posted in from the store front desk, most times those students, they don't come to the store to pick the item, and from the store pickup, from the store front desk, the item has been posted and automatically deducted from the stock. So I don't know how to handle that, because sometimes you don't get to see the student pick the item from the store, and it's affecting the record.
Uju, did you get that, please?
If I heard what she said well, she said most times when students make purchase from the store inventory, from the store front desk, they don't come in to pick up their items. Is that what you said, ma'am?
Not all the items. Like sometimes, let's say, for instance, the student goes to pay for the item.
Okay.
The store posts the receipt.
Okay.
And the item that the student purchased is automatically deducted from the
The
stock.
stock up value.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we don't get to see the student, the item is not yet picked because they did not come for it, and there's no way we'll be able to like balance it with our stock value.
But once an item has been paid for, automatically you're seeing that item under the store pickup unit and it's marked as collected.
Yes.
So the only thing that you need to do from your own end now is keeping it aside that, okay, someone needs to come get this thing. And we're not one, you need to now talk to your students to come get their items, because the system is already giving you a record that this particular students or students have paid for these items and it has been marked as collected directly from the account officer's desk that's using the front desk, right? Hello?
Yes, I'm with you, ma.
Yes.
Okay, you're saying not the item aside
Yes, you
until
need
the
to,
student
yes, or the
is
system
placed.
come in to pick up, or you reach out to them to come pick up their items, because the system is already giving you a record of this payment has been done by this particular student and this is what they paid for. So it shouldn't affect your stock of value because you're already seeing how many you have left based on the quantity that's been marked as collected from the store pickup unit.
Mm.
You understand?
Okay. Mm.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. All right. I just want to read out this before I call the next person. Babatunde is asking, please, is there a way to populate the store inventory from Excel to Educare? That's the question we have on the chat box.
Currently, no. You have to create those items individually on the portal.
All right. Thank you for that. So the next to speak is Adiola. Please, if you can. Adiola Grace, can you unmute?
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for the wonderful section. Someone has asked my question earlier on the report aspect for different categories of inventories. But also, I have answered that. Also, I want to ask if there's a video because I joined a bit late for the store inventory, whereby I can just put myself through it with that video.
Yes, there is. And of
Okay.
course, this session is being recorded, so it will be shared with you as well. All right?
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, my last question is this. Though it's not pertaining to the inventory, but the school bill, because I'm trying to work on the educare software to create school bill for my students because they are going home this weekend. So, but what I noticed is for the 2025-2026 academic section, the class is not changing because I changed the session, but the class is not changing because I'm expecting that if you're going to a new class, the class should change, a new section, the class should change. So I don't know if you can help with that. Thank you.
All right, so what we can do about that is kindly put up just a short write-up on the help desk. And one person from our support team will guide you and show you what to do. All right? Since that's not the focus of interest here now. Just put it up on the group now, the help desk, and someone will attend to you, okay? All right. Thank you. We'll now move over to Carlo. Carlo, please, could you please unmute and speak?
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Good day.
My question one is on the creating of items in the library. One of you made mention of price, selling price. So for we at Wellspring College, we are new integrating into the system. So I want to know, is it possible for one to put a cost price and then a selling price? Kind of provision whereby you can be able to separate within the cost price and then sell the price at the end. Then there's a place where you can know the profit you make for sales of such items. And also the case whereby there's a ledger or something where you report where you can get your stock of goods, and maybe at a particular period of time, current cost of goods at a particular period of time. So that is one of my questions.
Yes. So as I stated earlier during the course of the session, when you're creating your item, at the point of creating an item, you're keying in the cost price. If your markup is a percentage, all you need to do is you check and put in the percentage. If it's an exact amount, you uncheck and put in your exact amount, which the system automatically calculates the selling price for you. They don't need to calculate it unless you're stating that the cost price and the selling price is same, then you can leave this at 0. But once you put in your cost price and you're calculating your price markup by percentage, if it's 5%, you key it in. If it's 10%, you key it in. Automatically it gives you your selling price. So that handles this part. So on the part of keeping records of the stock up value, if you go to the running history, so this the current stock up history gives you the record of what you've stocked up at a particular point in time. So when next you're entering another stock up value, it's also giving you a record of the quantity you had the last time, how much you sold the last time, and the new price you're keying in. That's the current stock up history of the system.
All right. Thank you very much. Then my other question, during the process of creating the store as an item, because you made mention of creating of a suppliers, vendor.
Okay.
So, sometimes when you buy a product, you don't pay full, you pay on instrumental basis.
Okay.
So, of which needs the ledger or an account to be created for that vendor also. So when you create a vendor through the store process, does the system automatically create an account for that vendor, or you still need to create an account separately in your chart of accounts?
Yes, you still need to create an account separately for the vendor. So what this supplier detail does here is you're linking the supplier's name to the item you're creating at the point of stocking up. You understand?
Okay.
So at this point, it's not giving it an account for payment. So you're only linking it to who made the supply, the vendor that made the supply to that particular item you're creating on the inventory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So at the point of settling on the ledger parts, where you can use when you want to now pay the vendor, use the requisition and create an account for that particular vendor on the system.
Okay.
Yes. So this supplier details is different, or is only linking the item you're creating to the supplier on the system, on the inventory part. But when it comes to the payment, the requisition will handle that part for you. So it's not done on this end.
All right, thank you very much. Then my last question, I don't know if something that will be treated in this section or there will be another one. Just that when during the store requisition, you made mention that for parents who made the requisition online, they want to make cash payments.
Okay.
So after receiving the cash payment, how do you now make the entry posting into the system so that the system can actually capture such payments?
Okay. So I said, if you have parents that picked an item from the store, raised an invoice but did not make payments from the portal, once you go to the invoice center, select the account store, you'll find the invoice for that particular item. So what you need to now do is same way you do the manual clearing of bills. You click on the status not paid and click on confirm payment receipt for this invoice. And you can be able to clear that particular item. Not the same way you do your manual clearing of an invoice from here. You select the bank, select the bank the money was paid into, generate a reference, confirm amount collected, transaction date and time, and you click on confirm payment. So once you confirm payment, system clears that invoice as paid. So now you need to go to the store manager can then go to the store pickup unit and issue this item as collected. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, you have. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Welcome. All right. So before we take Ngozi, the next person to speak, Please, Maureen,
Yes,
I think this is a question from Olasukomi. Please, what of in a case that parent paid for school uniform size 32 and students say it is size 30? How can we post it or change it on store inventory template?
okay. So what you need to do at this point is okay. So we'll go to store front desk, we'll go to settings. Disable store pickup change of size. We'll turn this button on. So once this button is turned on, if we go to store pickup unit, a parent has made payment, has picked an item, picked large at the point of making payments. So if you want to now change the size, this one is pending size, so it cannot give us. I want to look for size. So once that button is enabled, because we are using sizing, we enabled sizing for this particular item. So parents need to come in for sizing before they can issue out this item. At this point, you can always click. Let me disable the, give me a moment. So I want to show you how it works so that you can see that it's something that is already there. I'll go to store inventory. I will edit this. If I go back to the store pickup unit, should allow me pick the sizes I want. If that's not the size the student wants. Okay. So the thing is, at this point, we're supposed to allow me change the sizing from here. Once that button is enabled, I will check the session, this particular portal I'm using. But once that button is enabled, all you need to do is once you come here and the parent is requesting or the student is requesting for a new size, you click on this button here. You will see the list of the different sizes you have on that item. Select the new size you want to pick before you then hand over the item to the student as collected.
All right, thank you for that. Olasukomi, I hope that clears you. If not, you can do well to put a write-up on the help desk and one-on-one will clear you on that. All right, thank you. Ngozi, please unmute and speak. Ngozi, you've been asked to unmute. Olasukomi, I don't know the name of your school. Could you please write on the help desk, your school help desk, and someone from our support team will attend to you, okay? All right, seems Ngozi is not unmuting. Oh, Bilikisu, do you want to speak?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning still. Please, I quickly want to ask this question again. In our school, Gliston International Academy, a student is allowed to buy uniform with his stock shop, that's his pocket money. So if the student come to the store to buy uniform, and I've seen the process of doing it, she just explained everything to us. Immediately after you create the invoice, you issue out, does he automatically reduce the money from his pocket money? That's my question.
Yes,
That-
if we're using the talk shop,
yes,
yes, if we're using the talk shop, automatically it deducts the money from the student pocket money.
directly from the student's pocket.
Yes,
Okay. Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Hello.
All right, Ngozi, you can go ahead, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, my name is Ngozi Waka from Oakman International Academy, Port Harcourt. Okay, I wanted to ask a question, like when you people did the invoicing for parents in respect to school fees, and I know one of the key things we add in our fees too has to do with books. I just want these questions. I hope books are part of the inventory because I've not heard it mentioned here.
Yes, they are part of the inventory. You can also have books on the store inventory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, like, linking this invoicing with the store in terms of books. Like when parents pay for the fees, which school fees, total fees, which has to do with which books are part of. So how do you link it to the books that have been actually paid? Like when you did the invoicing, you can do as a group, and each class have a particular books that is being assigned to them at the beginning of the new session. Then when they pay that fees, how do we link that fees that they've paid to the coming to the inventory aspect to knock off all the books, knowing that parents have paid the total school fees, which has to do with both the books, even the uniforms too. So I want the link between these total fees, which because our fees have to do with both uniforms and books. So how do we knock it off and all that? Bearing in mind there's a total invoice that parents have paid.
Okay. So what the thing is, we do more like customization for you based on this request. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So we link the store inventory to the fees account so that once you have parents that have paid for items like the books or uniform,
Okay.
yeah. So instead of having to allow the money go out from be on the invoice and also be on the store inventory, it will just be one. And also you can also clear the item from it. So we do those customizations for you, attaching it from the inventory and the school fees account head. You understand? Yes.
Okay. And there's a situation where a child will tell you that I lost my textbook, so I needed to like buy it either from my pocket money, just like the other person asked, or the parents might send the money. At this point, we at our own end will be able to knock it off for them, or the parents can go through that link to
make purchase. So
Yes.
now parents can then go to the store directly and purchase the books directly from the store.
Okay. Another question I want to ask, what's the capacity of this store inventory? Because when you look at a school, you have different, like in terms of the books, the uniforms, and the stationaries. So what's the capacity? Is there any limit that it can say we can't take this number of inventory, or it has an unlimited capacity? Because I guess different schools have what they meant for to be their store inventory. So I just want to know the capacity at the point you're trying to, impute all your inventory. Is there a capacity that you can take, or is an unlimited one?
It's unlimited. So you can take as many item library you want to create. So there's no limit to it.
Okay, finally, thank you for the answer. Then finally, the question I want to ask is in terms of, like you were saying, that we'll come back to the area of budget. Because I know most of the stationaries is not what parents buy, it's what is being used in school. And it has to do with at the beginning of the year session, the budget. So you were saying that we'll come back to it because most of the purchase stationaries are picked up on the budget for the session. So I know it was not stated here. You tried to do it, but you said we'll still come back to it.
Yes, we will still have a session on the budget management and the requisition part of the platform. So I set up the budget at the time because I wanted to show you how the request form works using the store.
Okay.
Yes. So we'll have a proper insight on the
Okay,
budget
thank you.
management.
Okay, so for that customization, actually, we'll be interested in that. Thank you.
All right, well noted.
All right, for that customization, you can do a formal request, write us via our email, support@educare.ng, all right? So that we can attend to that. All right, so thank you all for joining us today. I think at this point, we'll be rounding up. I believe we have found value in the walkthrough of Educare's inventory management module and the SwitchApp also. I believe they were informative. So if you have any further questions or need additional support, please do not hesitate to reach out using your school help desk. That is the WhatsApp group. And we are always happy to assist or to show you one-on-one and guide you. And also, we appreciate your time and we look forward to helping you streamline your inventory management processes. All right. And for Ngozi Nwaka, just to add to it, you made mention of requesting for a customization. You can also check if your category, your package aligns with where you can make a request for customization. That is why I say you should write us officially via email and we'll look up this and then respond accordingly. So thank you all for your time and we look forward to the next session, which I believe we also have to capture that of the budgeting, those things we need to do to get prepared for the new session. And thank you to the facilitators, Maureen, Uju, and Engineer Sylvester. Thank you all. All right, till our next webinar, we are saying bye for now.